Straight ahead this morning, people across the country make their way to Valdosta. It's all to remember Kendrick Johnson and why his family is not giving up hope. Plus, jewelry store owners in Georgia slept a little better last night. A woman wanted for robbing stores in 5 states captured. We have the details. And no matching numbers. The Powerball brings disappointment to Americans once again. What we can expect for the next drawing. And Brittany will have a full breakdown of your Sunday forecast, including the weather for your work week. These stories and much more to come this Sunday morning.
Live from the WCTV studios, this is the Good Morning Show. Coverage you can count on.
Happy Sunday, everyone. I'm Natalie Rubino. Thank you so much for joining us this morning. We're going to have more on all of those stories in just a minute. But first, meteorologist Brittany Beatty's here. Brittany, we had kind of an ugly day yesterday, a day to stay in bed. What kind of day are we looking at today?
Well, for today, we're actually starting to cool off, and we're dealing with some drier conditions. Now, Tallahassee sitting at 54 degrees, a little bit warmer to the east, but to the west, check out those temperatures in the 40s in New Orleans, 40s in Atlanta, and even in the single digits way out to the west into Wichita, Kansas, and even into Denver. So quite a temperature difference. We're actually going to see that push of cooler, drier air make its way into our region as well. And that's part of the reason why we're starting to clear out a little bit. Very high up in our atmosphere. We still have some clouds outside, but that rain ending for North Florida and South Georgia. So you can leave the umbrella at home today. In fact, visibility is looking good as well. But those temperatures are rather cool in the 50s. 54 degrees in Tallahassee, 53 in Monticello, mid-50s along the coastline, and even the upper 40s into Albany, Georgia, low 50s throughout much of southern Georgia. So it's still a cool start this morning. But over the next 24 hours, we have even colder temperatures ahead, despite this rather mild morning, along with some breezy conditions and the possibility of some temperatures falling very near the freezing mark. We'll have a full look at the forecast coming up in a few minutes. Natalie, back to you.
Brittany, thank you. Today is the 3rd anniversary of Kendrick Johnson's death. The Lowndes High School student was found dead in a rolled-up gym mat. It happened in 2013. Johnson was just 17 years old. To this day, the family is still fighting for answers. WCTV's Aaron Lish spoke with Johnson's family at one of the many events held in his honor this weekend.
We got to fight back.
Step by step, hand in hand, voices ring out.
Fight back.
For Kendrick Johnson, who's found dead in a rolled-up gym mat at Lowndes High School in January 2013. While the case is under investigation, not a day goes by that Johnson's parents don't think about their son.
You look around, you know, everyone loved Kendrick. You know, he was a nice young man.
He was funny. I mean, he made everybody laugh. He was the joy in our house. He was our baby.
His death ruled accidental by authorities. Some believe he was murdered.
If they're still investigating, there must be something to it.
We tired and sick of tired. Somebody knocking on our door saying our child has been killed.
We come together for a unity and purpose, that we seek justice and peace for Kendrick Johnson and also for the Johnson family.
Never giving up on KJ, the family wants to make sure that this never happens again.
Because the shoes that we're in, we won't want nobody to be wearing those shoes.
Right now we say no justice, no peace. No justice, no peace. No justice, no peace.
Aaron Lish, WCTV Eyewitness News.
Happening in just under 3 hours, family, friends, and supporters will gather at Oasis Church at 11 in KJ's honor. There will also be a vigil following that at his gravesite. Firefighters in Madison County responded to a mobile home fire. Crews were called out to 553 Northeast Country Kitchen Road. It happened just after 5:30 Saturday evening. Officials saw smoke coming from the roof and some windows. Luckily, no one was home at the time of the fire. The Red Cross was called in to assist the family. The blaze remains under investigation. A Jacksonville woman pleads guilty to child neglect and lying to the police, but under one condition. 26-year-old Alana Barton has been in jail since August. She was booked and charged with 2 counts of child neglect and 1 count of lying to police. It all stems from the night her son Lonzy disappeared. According to documents, Barton has agreed to give truthful testimony regarding State versus William Reuben Ebron Jr. That's what her lawyer says is a condition of her plea deal. Law experts say the agreement is not uncommon.
You have 2 co-defendants. The effort of the state is always to get one co-defendant to testify against the other.
But the state maintains that there was no deal and no promises made to Barton. Her attorney says she's frustrated and still grieving. The FBI agents catch a woman accused of targeting jewelry stores in 5 different states. The 24-year-old was taken into custody Friday in Georgia. Matt Johnson reports.
The FBI identified the suspected armed jewelry store robber in this surveillance video as Abigail Kim from Cobb County. Authorities say she stole millions of dollars worth of jewelry, and she was wanted in multiple states, including Georgia. The 24-year-old was arrested Friday in Smyrna, along with a man who investigators haven't identified yet. We obtained the federal affidavit that links Kemp to at least 6 robberies in 5 states since April. In the documents, authorities say she served as a lookout in some cases. In another robbery, she's accused of ordering store employees to the back room and zip-tying their hands. In one more, authorities say she stole more than $900,000 worth of merchandise. The 8-month spree began at a Jared store in Woodstock. Since then, Kemp is accused of pulling off 5 more heists in Georgia, Tennessee, Florida, South Carolina, and North Carolina. We found a 2011 arrest warrant out of Cobb County for Kemp for battery, along with this mugshot. The FBI says they used her social media accounts to link a getaway vehicle in the robberies back to her. I went by the house where the car is registered, but a woman at the door declined to comment.
Kemp will make an initial appearance before a federal judge in Northern Georgia District on Monday. A Georgia man becomes somewhat of a hero after stopping a burglary, but he did it, get this, with a sword. Yes, a sword. The Athens man claims he heard a noise. He jumped into action once he saw the 2 bandits. Thanks to his quick thinking, the burglars fled. As you can imagine, it was quite the sight throughout the neighborhood.
By the time I called the police, they was already informed that a person with a sword swinging around, running down the street, chasing a couple people. It's a walking stick, but it's actually a weapon if necessary needed.
Authorities were able to catch both suspects. Those suspects, 18-year-old William Walker and his 17-year-old brother. They're both charged with 3 counts of theft. It was Powerball mania across much of the nation Saturday. The jackpot grew to a record level of nearly $1 billion just before the drawing at 11 p.m. That aired Eastern Time on CBS News. CBS correspondent Wendy Gillette reports from New York City.
All right, now for your winning Powerball number, it was a number that inevitably drew groans from many Americans who realized they were not suddenly rich. Across the country, lottery machines spit out millions of tickets leading up to Saturday night's drawing, a chance at the largest jackpot in world history. Most waiting in line already know what they would do with the winnings.
Buy myself some property, new car, new home, new environment.
The dreamers were not dissuaded by the odds. Your chance to win the Powerball jackpot that has reached $900 million is about 1 in 292 million. A University of Buffalo statistics professor says you're roughly 25 times more likely to become president of the United States than to win.
Got to take a risk. You want to win big.
As for how to pick a winning Powerball ticket, a Dallas math professor says you're probably better off letting the computer pick your numbers rather than doing it yourself, because most people have favorite numbers that they include that tend to be lower, and the game's numbered balls go up to 69. Some think they have a better chance if they enter community pools, like this one in Derry, New Hampshire, that grew to hundreds who live in the area.
Just excited to be part of something where everybody wants, the same thing.
Those who live in the District of Columbia, the U.S. Virgin Islands, Puerto Rico, and 44 states can play the Powerball. Nevada residents cannot, which brought long lines to stores just over the state line in California. No one has won the Powerball jackpot since early November, which sent it soaring. Wendy Gillette for CBS News, New York.
Wow, get this. Tickets were selling at a rate of almost $3 million worth an hour in California just before last night's drawing.
Wow, and I know a lot of people probably went up during the last minute. I got 1 ticket and I knew it wasn't going to be good for me.
We had big plans yesterday, what we were going to do. We were going to pay off student loans. We were going to buy a new car, a house.
Well, we have a second chance. We have another chance here with that huge jackpot.
We do, and that actually brings us to today's online poll question. We want to know, if you bought a Powerball ticket, or that gives you the results, how many did you buy for last night's drawing? Now, 50% of you said 2 to 5 you bought. 24% of you just bought 1. 27% bought 5 plus.
Wow.
I don't know. I mean,
I bought one, and the number spit out 3, 4, 21, and a Powerball 21. I just knew I wasn't going to win.
You just knew you weren't going to
You
get
just
it.
know.
Well, it's fun to think about it. 8:10 right now. Coming up, we'll take a look at this morning's eye-opener trivia question. See how well you know your world history. Little hint there. Plus, why teen heartthrob Justin Bieber was asked to leave a tourist site in Mexico. That interesting story to come. But first, Brittany, what can we expect for our Sunday?
Well, we're finally going to see some change in the weather pattern. You can leave the umbrella at home. We're not going to see any more of that rainfall, a little more sunshine, but also some cooler weather. If you like today's temperatures, you might like this evening's temperatures too. It's going to keep on getting cooler. We'll have a full look at the forecast coming up in just a few minutes.